Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And this week we are going to be looking at 3 products from Read My Mind, that is Looch's Mentalism website. 3 brilliant products, 2 physical, 1 digital, and we're going to start it off with his brand new release, so his newest release of the bunch, the one that came out I believe at the end of 2023, and that is the Propalopes, the 4-dimensional telepathy envelopes remodernized and made permanent. This is a very, very good product. I've used this in my last show that was in this weekend on Saturday on a small parlor stage show for around 25 people. And it worked wonders, and I can't wait to talk more about it. So let's roll the intro and get straight into the review. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about the Propalopes. So what are the Propalopes? The Propalopes are essentially a set of envelopes that will allow you to do the 4-dimensional telepathy plot without having the need to actually make your own envelopes or construct your own envelopes or do any DIY. It's going to allow you to do that essential plot, which means, for those that don't know what that is you have 3 people come up on stage, they write a piece of information, then they place it inside of an envelope. They then proceed to hold the envelopes, or you put them on a stand, and you read each person's mind turn by turn with even more details than the audience perceives the audience member has given you. That is essentially the crux here. Unfortunately, I cannot do this to you because I don't have footage from the residency where I performed, nor do I have 3 spectators in a stage for me to perform it to you, but I do hope that that explanation kind of gave you an idea of what this does. But knowing that, where do you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get? So you can buy this exclusively and only from Read My Mind, that is Looch's Mentalism website. You can go check it out. It will cost you around 205 Canadian dollars. In terms of conversion, I believe that is 150 US and maybe 150 or 120 pounds. I'm not very sure of the conversions because the site automatically converts to your local currency. So to me, it was in Canadians. So to me, it was 205 Canadians, which is around 120, 150 US UK dollars. Plus, you'll have to pay shipping, which to Canada was around 30 bucks. That is important to keep in mind if you're looking to buy this. And knowing that, what do you get? So what you get when you purchase is this small box. On the tab of this box, of course, I won't show it to you, but you get a link to the instructional video. And the instructional video is separated in 2 parts. The first part is a live performance, which goes almost 12 minutes long, of Looch performing this in the real world in a small, I think it's kind of a library setting with like 20 or so people. So you see exactly how this routine works. Then you get the explanations, which run around an hour-ish. So I think it's around an hour and 10 minutes with Looch and a guest, and they talk about everything that you need to know about the project, how it works, etc. I do have to point out that if you're not familiar with the plot, I did find the instructions a bit confusing because they never really show you the moves a lot, or they show you the flow of the routine. They kind of dissect parts of the routine and they jump between ideas at different points. So I felt personally that I am familiar with the plot, but even then I got lost at some point. I was like, okay, but how did he do that? I have no clue. So I had to go rewatch a few parts of the video, maybe once or twice, just to understand. So if you're unfamiliar with this plot, the video is a bit confusing. I think it would have really helped for them to maybe revisit the 10-ish so minutes performance and tell you exactly what he does at the specific points in time. I think that could have very well benefited the tutorial, but nonetheless, it's still well explained, well shot, informative, etc. And then you also get a PDF for you to print your extra card. So in terms of downloadables, that is what you get. Now let's check in terms of physical products what you get. You are getting this. So in terms of physical products, you are getting the stickers. These are here if you want to stick them on the actual envelopes to number the envelopes 1, 2, 3, or spectator 1, spectator 2, spectator 3. He gives you this option. Personally, he does say that if you want to write directly on the envelopes or use the stickers, eventually it could damage the coloring of the envelope, so he advised against it. But if you are going that route, he does give you the best possible stickers to do with the least amount of damage. but personally, I do not do that. I just have 3 little stands that I put up behind me on a table, and I put the envelopes on the stands behind or in front of each of the respective spectators to solve that issue. Then you also get this small box. This is the carrying case in which I carry them around. You can see it's getting a bit banged up in my transport of it for my show that I had on Saturday, but it still holds good, and if ever, you can just replace it and put something else. And this is what you get essentially inside of this box. You get some cards here. Let me just make sure to not reveal any of the information of the actual people that wrote on the cards. But essentially you get these cards. These are the size that you need. They're made of very thick cardboard. So these are the cards that you get. You're essentially going to have to print more because he only gives you enough for three or four performances, if I'm counting correctly. And one thing that I can tell you is, if you are familiar with Blake Voigt and how he uses his acro index, you could take these cards, write the information on it, so you can actually write what you're supposed to do here. Then you're going to go to any shop, you're going to plastify your cards, you're going to reinforce them with plastic, and then you can have your spectator write on Sharpie on the actual card that is plastic. And then after your performance, you can just take a bit of alcohol and put some how's it called, some whiteboard marker over what they wrote, and with just a bit of alcohol you just rub, and it's going to clean everything completely. So you can actually make these reusable using that technique if you want. If not, there is a link that is provided in the Facebook group that you also get with this project, which is around $40, $50 for around 1,000 cards, which should last you 333 performances approximately for that money. So if you want, you can just buy the cards exactly like this for that price, or you can do what I kind of am going to do, is just plastify these cards and have reusable cards over and over again. That is an idea as well. So you get the cards, and then let me just make sure I don't reveal anything here, because these are directly stripped from the performance. So I want to make sure that, okay. So so you get these envelopes here. So you get these envelopes just like this, and some of them are gimmicked and some of them are not. So you get 2 normal envelopes and 2 gimmicked envelopes with your package. So that is essentially what you are going to be getting. So 2 gimmicked, 2 non-gimmicked. We're gonna place some of these here, and I'm gonna just show you here what these envelopes look like. They have the little Velcro sticker here. They close beautifully, and they're made out of propylene, I believe it's called. And yeah, they should last you a very long time. If you use them with care, these should last a very long time. So this is essentially what you get with your purchase. You get your 4 envelopes, 2 gimmicked, 2 non-gimmicked. You get around 12 cards, which is gonna allow you to do around 12 performances, around 4 performances. You get your little carrying box, the stickers, the instructional video, and the PDF to print more cards, and that is everything that you get with your money. Now, having said that, let's talk about difficulty. So how difficult is this routine to perform? The routine, in essence, is not very difficult to perform. All you're gonna need is a presentation and some kind of script. That's it, because the props do most of the work for you. There's maybe 2 moves or 3 moves max in the routine that you have to do, but all of them are done in the offbeat and natural moments that aren't really, where there's really no heat on you. So the moves also, it's not like you're doing anything super sneaky. It's just super simple things that you're doing, nothing too complicated. So you're gonna easily be able to do this routine without much work in terms of slides, but you're gonna have to put work in terms of the routining and knowing how you're gonna go about, what questions you're gonna choose to ask, how you're going to structure it, how you're going to routine it. That's where most of the difficulty is going to come in. But overall, I'd say this is beginner-ish intermediate level. It is very not that difficult, but you do need to have some presentational capabilities in order to pull it off. In terms of practicality, how practical is it? As you saw, all of this fits into this really small box. Now, of course, this is not a routine that you're gonna do at your local pub. This is something for parlor stage. So when you're going in those type of environments, you are gonna anyway have a little carrying case or a little pouch or a little backpack with you. And this is pretty small for a routine that can play around 10 minutes. So this is pretty packed small. You put everything inside of here and you're ready to go, and you're gonna need 3 pens, 3 Sharpie pens as well. So you just take everything, you place it inside of this box with the Sharpie pens, and you're good to go and perform. In terms of angles, the angles for this routine are, again, it's a stage parlor routine, so there's never gonna be anyone behind you. So the dirty work that happens anyway is covered behind the motivation of the routine. I can't really give too much away in that regard, but the angles are pretty much good. You're gonna be covered no matter what. In terms of repeatability, it is a stage trick, so you won't repeat it. In terms of reset, again, it's not a trick that you're gonna do multiple times, so that doesn't really matter. The reset doesn't really matter. You are going to need, however, for this, your carrying case or something in order to place the envelopes in as part of the method in order to help disguise the method. And you're probably gonna need some stands if you wanna place the envelopes, some stands. You can buy some from Amazon. They're very, very cheap, around 10 bucks for like 20. That's the one that I got. And yeah, in terms of practicality, it is very, very good. Packed small and placed for around 10 to 12 minutes of a routine. In terms of where to perform this, well, performance-wise, I've already kind of hinted it. This is something that you do parlor or stage. This is not something that you're gonna do on Zoom or walk around from table to table or anything like that. This is something you're gonna do purely in a scenario where you can have kind of a mini stage. You could definitely do this at a corporate event or at a banquet. For example, if it's like 10, 15 people for a small banquet, you could definitely do it for all of them at the same time. Or even at a house party, if you can have people stand on a table or you have kind of a small mat and you tell people to stand behind, you can easily do it in those scenarios as long as you have somewhere to ditch the envelopes. I ditch them in my carrying case, which plays the perfect cover, but you're just gonna need to consider that to perform this, you're gonna need a parlor stage-ish environment and somewhere to just place the envelopes as you discard them. So that is all you need to know in terms of performance. So having said all of that, what are the positives and negatives of the project Propalopes? Let's start out with the negatives as always. So there's only two negatives that I can point out. One is more superficial and one is something that I can't really talk about right now. I'm gonna have to talk about in the long run. So first is the tutorial. As I said, I felt it was a bit convoluted. I had to refresh a few parts, to relook at a few parts, and I got lost a bit in the routining of it. So I feel that if you're someone that knows nothing about 4DT, I think it's going to be maybe a bit hard to follow. You're gonna maybe have to watch it maybe 2 times. Again, maybe that was my fault. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was out of it. But personally, I just felt it was a tad confusing in terms of the tutorial. However, the second thing is something that, as I said, I can't really pinpoint right now, but is the durability, because you are buying these, you are paying a lot of money for these to be durable. Now, for me, then the way that I use them and the care that I put inside of my product, I don't feel these breaking or having to replace them anytime soon. But time will tell. If I get constant gigs every single week and I perform this every single week, it's gonna change. I don't know if they're gonna last or not. To me, it looks like they will last a very long time if taken care of, but it is something that I can't really tell you that this is a lifetime product, right? I can't give you that stamp because I am not sure. So that is something you have to keep in mind. But in my opinion, this will last a very long time, but you never know. Having said that, let's now go into the positives. One, the props you get are very well made, they're very well built, they seem to last a very long time. The routine of this is great, it packs small, it plays big, it's a beautiful parlor stage routine. The reveal, the structure, and the way that this is routine is perfect. It's a joy to perform as well, and I think it is very interesting for the spectators and the audiences as well. I think it gives a very good, coherent, plausible effect that is going to play big if you are a mentalist. So having said all of this, would I recommend Propalopes and what do I give it out of 10? I think that if you're a mentalist that does do stage parlor magic and you already do a similar 4-dimensional telepathy trick, I think this is well worth your purchase. I think you are definitely gonna use it. I think you're definitely gonna put this in your show, put this in your working environment. I fully recommend it. However, if you're a close-up, a magician that just does tables or etc., there is hints that Looch has said that he will maybe do a close-up version with smaller envelopes. So that is something that could happen in the future. But at the moment, this product is designed for larger performing environments, which means that if you're a close-up guy, maybe this is not for you. But having said all of that, I personally recommend it. I have used it. I will continue in using it. I love this. It will be in pretty much all of my stage parlor shows for a very foreseeable future because it is that good. So I'm giving it a 9.5 on 10. It is close to perfect. It is absolutely great. I fully recommend it. So having said all of that, thank you everyone for watching. As always, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. I do always my best to answer all of them. Saying that, thank you very much. Looking forward to the next video, which is going to be the frameworks by Looch, which is a very good one. So have a great one and bye-bye.